Greetings, Royal Queens and Kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa. And guess what? We are back for season 16, episode 3 breakdown, The Real Housewives of Atlanta live review. Listen here, when I tell you that this season is giving me everything that I've been looking for, okay? And production has been listening because I'm like, I want to see Miss Diane. Like, I want to see her rolling around, crying, giving Portia some advice, how she should make it through. You know what I'm saying? I mean, seriously. And they delivered. When I tell you, thank you, bravo, 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 honey. Listen, when you talk about the riches, when you talk about the real stories, when you talk about the real life reality of these stars, this is what has drew me back in. And that's why I'm so excited to give my review tonight. Because, the first and second episode, I wasn't really amped up about it. But on this third episode, baby, let's get into it. Get ready for an unforgettable night as the Real Housewives of Atlanta returns with season 16, episode 3 titled High Notes and Cheap Shots, premiering on Sunday, March the 23rd, 2025 at 8 p.m. on Bravo. This episode is set to deliver the drama and glamour that fans have come to adore. Kelli takes center stage as she organizes her first luxury shopping event, but the pressure mounts as tensions flare between Shamea and Angela, echoing rivalries from the past. As the ladies navigate their complex relationships, Drew faces her own challenges, awaiting a judge's decision on her divorce records. Tune in for an evening filled with high stakes emotional moments and the fierce competition that defines this iconic series. Don't miss it, okay? So let's go ahead and get into Kelly's. Her event was such, oh my goodness, her event was so amazing. Let's just say that it was at the Ball Main and it was at the Phillips Plaza. Um, Eventually, things did get a little hot and steamy up in the store. And she made the comment, like, girl, this is not Lennox, this is Phipps Plaza, girl. We are not doing that. And I was like, okay, two snaps and a pop. So get into it. So let's get into Kelly. Kelly, she's going through divorce. She has her four daughters, and she has a business, and it's been very lucrative for her. And one thing that I do adore and I appreciate about season 16 is it's very sweet because they're shedding light on illnesses that are in the community and these black mothers that are on TV that are in reality and they are very famous. However, they do have some struggles. And so when you talk about the lupus, when you talk about there's this disease where Kelly's daughters, I guess like their bones, something with their bones. And she has stated on the show that, her daughter was feeling ill or something. She had taken her to the hospital. And when she got to the hospital had called CPS. There was a police out there, a police presence, and they wouldn't let her leave. And so when the doctor looked into her daughter's eyes, she said, oh, she has OI. And so she was able to be released from the hospital with her child. And so when you talk about Shamea, because Shia is her youngest baby. And so Shamea has been battling, health issues with Shia and, trying to get her and nourish her into better health. I believe she's on a feeding tube and there were some complications with the surrogate. She used a surrogate that Candy used in the previous. And so the surrogate, I believe she had caught breast cancer while she was pregnant, and so there was some complications and things that went on. Now, Shamia, she is very transparent. She's very outspoken, and she is pretty much the Nini of the crew. So I got to give Shamia that. And I don't know why I don't have her on this thumbnail, but Shamia is the Nini of the crew. But she's really a rich woman. Okay. She, listen, Sterling Hall. baby, when I tell you Shamea's home is everything, when I tell you that Shamea, okay, so Shamea's sister has lupus. And Shamea, I want to say that she has a very great, amazing support system. I love the bond between her and her two sisters. It's like, yeah, um, we have our moments and things like that, but when it's time to stand up and step up to the plate, her sisters have done nothing less, nothing short of being amazing, amazing supportive sisters. And I want to say that that's the type of reality that I want to see, sisters coming together. And that we always see like people throwing drinks and the fighting and things like that. And I appreciate those sisters for really showing up for Shamea, for the family. Even Shamea's mom and dad, they're very involved, and her husband. When you talk about an upstanding husband, I mean, I'm just so overjoyed with the way that Shamea is showing up as a Black woman in media. She has these businesses, she's Atlanta, that's what she says. She says, I am Atlanta. Okay. Um, and let's get on Kenya. So, Kenya, she had, oh my God, Kenya, you actually won the audience over this year. And had you not, girl, had you not done what you had done, baby, I feel like Kenya would have been the centerpiece of next season. For season 17, I believe in my heart that Kenya would have been, you know, the center peach holder because she showed that she's a girl's girl. She's a mother, and just her interactions and things like that. I mean, she's still going to be the shade assassin, but outside of all of that, I felt like Kenya really showed a different side of her that the audience was gravitating to this season, this episode. Even from like when the show first started, even with her slick shade towards Britt, like, oh, with the rings, and oh, this is your first one, celebrating the anniversary, and like the little jabs like that, like the fun shade like that, like I can roll with. Um, and so Kenya was very, very, very likable. I got to say that. Now, so when they were at the event, Kenya definitely got the ball rolling. She's like, "Well, Portia's over there." She asked Drew, "Had you spoken to Portia?" And she's like, "Oh, she's over there." Trying to get the ball rolling with the drama. And Kenya, we love you. I just, oh my God, if Kenya was my friend, like Kenya, you need to be cool with some of the smaller bloggers, okay? Like some of us have experienced some things, and baby, I would have told you, girl, don't get the posters, don't do any of that. Just read her after your event. Don't do it at your event, right? So let's move on over to Portia and Kelli. So Portia and Kelli, they meet for a brunch, a little light, and Portia was over there on her Hennessy and her strawberry whatever it was. And so she's over there feeling herself, and I feel like Portia really wanted to break the ice with Kelli and really get get to know Kelli for Kelli, right? Unbiased, nobody's around. Let's just have this one on one. We can discuss kind of what happened in the past, but we can also march to a better um, place when you talk about existing on the same show, right? So I feel like, they had a great conversation. I feel like the barriers were kind of let down. They let their walls down and they really addressed kind of what was the big elephant in the room. And that was Kelli saying, well, why did she take that woman's man? And you didn't know what was going on. That man and that woman, they were going through their own thing. And as you can see from the news outlets and what's been said from their accounts, there was trouble in paradise, right? So I want to congratulate Portia on this season as well, taking initiative, addressing things head on, not running off the show, not really not answering. And if she does give an answer, whether if it's a PR answer or not, she's still speaking, she's still talking. Now, speaking of talking and speaking, her mom, Miss Diane, child, I was so excited. Miss Diane is like my favorite. Oh, I love me some Miss Diane, if y'all didn't know. So, Miss Diane and Portia goes out. They have a pampering session, not pampering by Portia with the sheets and stuff. I wonder if those robes were by pampered by Portia. That's an idea. But anywho, Portia slayed. I mean, every look, every scene, with the drama with her and Dennis, like, they showed a little bit of that, and she's like, if you're filming with somebody on this show, then it's gonna be a problem. And this is my thing: you're my baby daddy, and you know, my child's father. I'm making money. You need to be making money, but don't mess up what I'm trying to leave to Pilar. Because at the end of the day, when you bring other women on the channel, I mean on the show, that that there is not there's bad blood, right? There's bad blood between a woman and myself, and you're talking about you want to have her on the show and this, that, and the third. No, run this by me, and it's not for my benefit. So this woman, I get where Portia's coming from. Now you're gonna have her on my tails, because I don't know what type of pillow talk you didn't have with her, and I don't know how her finesse game is. She's over there divorcing Ross. He's laying in the basement, and they got this whole awkward situation. So you want to make this awkward with me, like the awkwards, and we're gonna call Drew, Dennis, and her soon to be ex husband. We're gonna call them the awkwards. Yeah, because it's very awkward, you know. So let's get into it. Um, when it had come to the bombing store, now all the ladies showed up. Cynthia showed up, and listen here. Why did Cynthia have on a grandma wig? Like she then took Sheree's style of Mama Joyce, and it seems like they have this Mama Joyce trend going on with these wigs. Like, girl, leave those wigs to the seasoned women. Give it to Mama Joyce. Like, give it to and I wouldn't even put it on Mother Diane. Mother Diane is too sexy for that little wig. Hey, Norris Tony, what did you think about that wig that thing Cynthia had come in when she had come to the Balmain store to the luxury event of Kelly's? What did you think of that wig? I thought that wig aged her a lot, and I like Cynthia with a bust down, bust down in the middle, and she's got her highlights in there, and it's the brown, the blonde. Like I like that's the I don't know, I like that look on her better. But so of course, like I told y'all, Kenya was stirring up the pot up in there, and who else was stirring up the pot? Angela Oakley. Angela Oakley was stirring up the pot, honey. And this is my thing: Angela Oakley and Charles Oakley, their relationship is a little awkward. So we got to add them on to the awkwards. Angela Oakley and her husband Charles, they are a little awkward, and the way that he talks to her and just how they communicate. I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like he's getting up in age, and he's kind of, a mean little something. Norris Tony says Cynthia wig was like you said, a cheap old lady wig. I mean, I just didn't understand like where the fashion was. Like Norris, okay, couldn't you see her in like a bust down with her highlights and then the brown? Like I was looking for that look, but she had come in looking like Mama Joyce's. Like she went to Mama Joyce's closet and said, "Girl, give me this one." You know, like she went over to Candy's and was like, Candy, what's going on? And Candy want all the tea, right? Because Candy is spilling the tea and she's not even on the show. Not to mention, okay. Now let's get into it with Shamea and Angela. Now Shamea and Angela. Now Angela going to tell Shamea, "Oh, you're Portia's assistant." Well, man, what do you think that she's supposed to be? That is her best friend. If my best friend isn't loyal like Shamea, baby, I don't want her. I don't want her, and I don't want to answer for her. So Portia felt a certain type of way with with Kelly because Shamia was like, "Well, go ask Portia." Damn right, go ask my best friend because I'm not about to answer for her. Because if Shamia had answered for her, then it would have put a rift in Portia and Shamia's relationship as best friends. Yeah, go ask my best friend. Don't ask me. What you asking me for? Go ask her. You got a problem with her? You want some shade? Go. Okay, go throw that shade to her and see how that plays out and work for you. So I feel like Shamia did exactly what Shamia was supposed to do as a best friend. Okay. Now let's get into this. Drew facing her divorce. Okay, so Norris Tony said Shamia is more of a friend to Portia than Peach Juice is to her. Period. And that's my thing. I would want a friend like Shamia. I mean, if Shamia just wanted to be, the just this grand, as the grand. See, if Shamia wanted to be the grand dame, Shamia has every right to be the grand dame. Karen Huger, I love you, but you don't have every right to be the grand dame. Listen here, Shamia has her $9 million house. Listen here, she purchased it with her family. She got with her husband. She didn't have any children. He didn't have any children, and she got everything from the ground up. Her foundation was, I want somebody that's gonna love me for me. I want somebody that's gonna, enjoy me for being me and not try to stop me. You know, Shamia is in a public eye. Shamia is out there. She is whirling and twirling and doing her big one. I'm very proud of Shamia. And, it goes back to Portia and Shamia being friends since middle school or elementary or they grew up together. Whatever the case is, that she owes loyalty to her best friend. I owe loyalty to my best friend. My best friend owes loyalty to me because that's just how we rock. That's how we rock. Mm-hmm. Norsoni says Shamia has the life that Portia wishes she had. Now listen here. Portia Pooh. Listen here, Portia. We got to say she is a smart woman, and when All About the Tea was on, and I went on there and I told Portia, Simon, love on this girl, give her everything that she wants, shower her with gifts. And Portia took that information and she said, yeah, he's going to be getting me all the gifts, but honey, he's going to have to sign this prenup. We're going to have to see what those finances are because I'm not going into this relationship blind. Yes, me and Cordell, I left him a lot, but baby, this time around, we're not doing that. I have a whole child that I have to leave a legacy to. North Tony said Portia deserves donkey of the season. Oh, so you don't think Portia was smart by going into this marriage by having a prenup and having her assets protected? Listen here, things have went left. Simon has got detained by ICE, and listen here, Portia said, "Baby, I'm not walking down the aisle. I'm not doing 15 weddings unless he signs these prenup papers. Because baby, listen here, one thing about Portia, Portia is not with she ain't with all that. Okay, now." We know Portia can nuck if you buck. Okay. Let's get into this. So, let's get back to Drew because Drew is two faced. For Drew to not, okay, Norsoni says she should have never married Simon, the scammer, in the first place. Well, listen here. She didn't know that man was a scammer. Portia's innocent. Portia was looking for love. Y'all know how Portia is. You know, Portia is a hopeless romantic. When we talk about Portia and her dating pool and things like that, Portia really just wanted love. Portia just wanted somebody to love her genuinely, unconditionally, and just accept her for who she is. She has this bubbly personality. She's a social butterfly. Um, she's got her hairline. She's been really made a name for herself. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to Drew. Drew was two-faced, so when it comes to Portia, I feel like Drew should have let Portia know, but Portia was not really feeling Drew like that because, Drew is very shady. And we all know how Drew is shady. And guess what? Drew decided to bring her sister to this event, knowing that Portia was going to be there, and Portia's best friend is on the show. So Drew knew exactly what she was doing. So what Drew is doing, okay, I got your man, and guess what? I got my sister for backup. So Nuck, if you buck, boy, Nuck, if you buck. Okay, get into it. Portia looks for love in all the wrong men and places. North Tony said, listen here, I think they find her. They seek her out. I think that's what it is. They seek her out. Girl, I can't wait till I get up off here so I can go down to McDonald's and get me a old nasty piece of 10-piece chicken nuggets, fries with no salt, and a large Coca-Cola with 2 apple pies. Okay, so listen here. If y'all want to donate to this broadcast, please don't hesitate to send your girl a cash app. Okay, let's get into it. You said Drew lies about things she shouldn't lie about. And listen here, do you think that Drew is over there creeping and sleeping with Dennis? Because this is my thing. Out of all the men, right? Out of all the men, out of all the producers in Atlanta, Atlanta has a lot of producers. Like, why didn't she hook up with Candy and tell her to put her in touch with Jazzy Faye? Jazzy Faye is a producer. He said Drew doesn't want to be with Dennis. Listen here. Drew has a whole situation. Drew has money coming in. Dennis has money in the bank. Okay, not only is he serving him, but he is laying the hot dog allegedly. Okay, listen here. Okay, so with Drew, I feel like she needs to like really be focusing on her marriage and that divorce instead of like trying to team up with Dennis. I feel like it was, not it. And before we move on from Miss Diane and Portia, now Miss Diane, while they were out on their spa date, Miss Diane said that Shamea was dead ass wrong for coming over there and saying little things about her, bringing back the bones, Shamea bringing back bones and having these conversations. And my thing was, Miss Diane, I don't see it. Miss Diane can't do no wrong in my eyes. And I'm just gonna leave that right there. Y'all can get upset. Y'all can feel how y'all want to feel, but Miss Diane can't do no wrong in my eyes. And she can't. And it is what it is. Okay. So Drew goes to her divorce lawyer. Now get into this. Drew goes to her divorce lawyer and she's all, happy so giddy. And then next thing you know, she's in tears, but she said her attorney said that, it's sealed right now, but then it's going to be unsealed, but then it's going to show how, her ex-husband was stalking her and sending sexting and, just being out there for everybody, baby. He was busting it down in the ATL, honey, allegedly. Allegedly. But listen here, I'm not about, celebrating nobody's demise or their divorce or anything like that, but I just kind of feel like Drew should have been doing her homework a little bit more because Ralph was over there just dragging her finances through the mud. Okay. He is solely over there trying to depend on her finances because pretty much what he's saying is, baby, she was the sugar mama. Okay. This was the lavender relationship. Now, Drew, in the past, she has been into women. This is a lavender relationship. Okay, let's get into it. Let's work it. Norris Tony says Drew's new album, I Did It to Myself, is out now. You can listen to it on YouTube. Oh, child. Well, child, listen here. This concludes our broadcast. This is all I have for you. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and sound off on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Are you excited that they're back? Who are you voting for this season? Who are you rooting for? And guess what? We do have a poll. The poll says, did you watch episode 3? And 67% says they watched for Portia, 0% watched for Kelli, 33% watched for Kenya, and 0% watched for Drew. So listen here, the people have spoke. Okay. So let's go ahead and let Miss Whitney Houston thank us. And when we come back, and if we don't have any visitors or guests that wants to sound off, we'll go ahead and conclude this broadcast. We'll be right back. Thank you all so much for supporting Queen Tulsa, the show, whether it's a like, a share, a subscribe. a Cash App, a PayPal, or a Zelle. Thank you for coming by and watching the show. And this is your commercial for being acknowledged for just being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, who would be watching? Thank you for tuning in. Absolutely. And we are back. We didn't have any guests to call in tonight. However, if you are the replay gang, we want to thank you so much. Please sound off and let us know what your thoughts, your feelings, and your feelings are in the chat. You says, I'm sorry the album. I'm sorry the album is called I Did It to Me. I Did It to Me. Okay, so the album is called I Did It to Me, and that's by Drew. You all make sure you get on out there and stream her music and also stream Shamea's album, Never Have, her new single, Never Had, Never Had. Now listen here, I never had to drop y'all off in Queen City like this, but baby, I got to go. Get me my McDonald's, the 10-piece, fries, no salt, large Coke. Listen here, McDonald's, we need a partnership. On that note, I got to drop you off in Queen City. So